In today's space news, we now know who had the medical event that brought an abrupt end to the Crew 11 flight on the ISS, astronaut Mike Fink. While we didn't know the precise nature of the event, Fink, 58, thanked his fellow astronauts, the flight surgeons, and the doctors on the ground for the rapid response. NASA may not have deemed the medical event an emergency, however, it was decided to return Crew 11 to Earth to allow Fink to get more advanced medical imaging than the ISS ultrasound machine could provide. And we're still waiting on word from NASA regarding a new date for Artemis 2's next wet dress rehearsal. The last one was mostly successful, but a problem repressurizing the helium system of the ICPS forced a rollback to the VAB. NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman posted on Twitter, the problem could be with a check valve, filter, or quick disconnect fitting. This takes March out of consideration for the launch. Aside from fixing the helium flow problem, the ground crew will also need to replace the batteries for the flight termination system and run range safety tests. The next possible launch dates are now April 1st, 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th. Meanwhile, NASA, in a February 27th press release, is calling this a golden age of exploration and discovery. It is the belief of the author that this remains to be seen, especially given budgetary constraints and the incredibly slow pace of the Artemis program. I would like to remind you that during the Apollo days, 2 to 4 flights a year were common, with the only year having only one flight was 1971 with Apollo 13. In fact, all crewed and uncrewed flights of the primary Apollo program happened in a 5-year span. Meanwhile, the Orion capsule has been in development since at least 2004 and has flown in space one time. There is concern both inside and outside NASA that the tile design of the heat shield cannot stand up to the actual rigors of re-entry, as an unexpected amount of damage occurred to it during its first flight, and in spite of a review, no design changes were made. But I digress. As part of their golden age, NASA says they are rebuilding their internal workforce and core competencies, which will help them rely less on external contractors for work that NASA used to do on their own. They are also working on standardizing many parts of their work, including the Artemis spacecraft configuration. From the sound of things, the interim part of the interim cryogenic propulsion stage of SLS Block 1 may not be as interim as originally intended. Quoting Amit Kshatriya, NASA Associate Administrator, "We want to fly the landing missions in as close to the same Earth ascent configuration as possible. This means using an upper stage and pad systems in as close to the Block 1 configuration as possible. We will work with our partners that have been developing the evolved block configuration of these systems to take proper actions to align their efforts towards this goal and announce the details of those changes once they are finalized. We will take a similar approach to in-space, landing, and surface EVA operations as well, as we evolve the mission sequence in the spirit of the Apollo mindset, which was obsessed with system reliability and crew safety as the keys to mission success." The president of Boeing's Space Division is also quoted as saying, "Boeing is a proud partner to the Artemis mission, and our team is honored to contribute to NASA's vision for American space leadership. I specifically put this here to make you appreciate the next part." About a week prior, on February 19th, NASA released an absolutely scathing internal report on Boeing's failed Starliner CTF that stranded 2 astronauts on the ISS. A deep dive video on this subject is forthcoming. And lastly, you may have noticed that David is not here on this video. Hi, I'm Zach. I will be hosting these videos for the foreseeable future. However, David is still writing all of these words I'm saying, at least on here. Like those ones. He wrote those ones specifically. If you want to see me say my own words, you can find me discussing movies and movie news on the Zach Man Reviews YouTube channel. Until next time.